Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with our first episode in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
3-ish weeks?
2 weeks.
It has been 3 weeks since we recorded. We were supposed to record 2 weeks ago, and then the Supreme Court was a bunch of fucking dickbags, like we all knew they were about to be.
Yes.
And so then Megan and I had to go protest in the streets.
Yes.
Do a little bit of time in the streets, on Monday that we were supposed to record. So we canceled that recording. And then last week, Jeff was feeling a little under the weather and had recently had some friends test positive for COVID. So we were cautious.
Yes.
And just didn't tell anybody that we were not going to record that week.
It's 4th of July, whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think there's anybody listening to the podcast who doesn't realize that we have now went into full-on unreliable mode.
Now, yes, we moved into that from.
I mean, we used to be very reliable about 2 episodes a week. Like, and it used to be very, and they used to come out on the same days.
Yep.
At this point, they come out on whatever fucking day.
Yeah.
It's usually
Who fucking knows?
The Monday following.
It's just an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
271 episodes in, and the wheels have come off the wagon, and it is just careening down the hill, completely bereft of any.
And you know what? You're still here. So thank you for listening to us careen down a hill because Zach cut the brakes and jumped out of the back of the vehicle.
Yelling, wild card, bitches. Anyway, this is a board gaming podcast that we do at least.
We do more cabin cons now than we do podcasts.
True. Really, the brand of Mile High Game Guys has migrated to Cabin Con and Slack.
Yeah.
And that's where all the action happens. This is a board gaming
That's where
podcast.
The good shit is.
Yep.
So we will talk about board games, and since it has been 3 weeks since the last time we recorded, and we are 2 weeks overdue for an episode, we have actually all played games that we can talk about.
I mean, we all played games the entire time that we actually had to talk about.
I know, yeah. So now we've got a lot of games to talk about.
Yeah.
So Jerf, would you like to start?
Sure. I played a bunch of Descent with Zach and Paul. Legends.
And me once.
Oh yeah, and you once. Zach, Paul, and also you. Once. So the first time we brought it back like 2 weeks ago was the first time we had played in
a while.
I
want to say like 6 months at least.
Yeah, probably that. We did a lot of narrative events, and which were just like, hey, did you do a mission there? Well, just go back and just chat for a while.
Yep.
Stay a while and listen.
We had one side quest that was the first time that we failed one.
Yeah, we had our first mission failure.
Because some people just couldn't stand but take damage and then get injured and then get
injured again,
and then injured again.
But also my task for my next feat was be wounded and then also do something.
Yeah.
Which seems to be like a theme for my character, which is, hey, get way closer to losing the fucking game, and then you can do these objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. I did find it funny that Paul was minorly injured. You were or he might even have been major.
We were both major at that point, I believe.
And then I think I had taken 3 damage at that point.
Because Zach's whole task was, don't become wounded.
Yeah. Don't succeed at a mission while being wounded. So that's what we did. That's what I did. Is I didn't succeed at a mission while being wounded.
Well, I mean,
I know
we had to succeed at the mission.
Right. We had to fail. We either had to fail at succeeding or fail at me taking wounds, and I made my choice.
Did you get that task complete by losing the mission?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
I was like,
no.
Yeah.
No, but to be fair, at least most of the time they weren't even targeting me. So it's not like I was just hiding away. There was like only 1 or 2 times.
Only 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Just a few.
So yeah, I ended up going out on that one. We were at the very end of it though, where we just had to defeat like the final thing.
Yeah. Then a
Yeah.
bunch of shit spawned and we're like,
Yes.
oh
But then a bunch more shit spawned in the one that we did with Adrian. It was probably the most enemies I've seen on the board at one time.
10. We had 10, and I know this because I was playing Varix, who has been just heinously neglected in you guys' campaign.
I think we've played him at the beginning, and then as soon as Zach got the cat burglar.
Yep. As soon as, to quote Jeff, as soon as I had a chance to weeb out, I was gonna weeb out.
And weeb he did.
Yeah, weeb I did.
But so Varric's criminally underused, had like no skill things, the feats. He had done none of his feats.
And then you completed 3 in that one mission we did.
Yeah, almost 4. I got halfway through the 4th one, I think.
Yeah.
But the one of them was resolve 10 enemy activations without anybody being wounded.
8.
I think it was 10.
It was 8.
I thought it was 10.
It was 8.
Whatever it was, I resolved it in literally a turn.
Yes, because then all 10 of those enemies activated, and then 8 of the 10 that activated completed your feat.
Yeah, there were 2 sight tokens, and the first sight token on the left was like, "Here's 2 enemies," and we're like, "Great!" And then it was like, "We should," and I was like, "Jeff, you
can make it over there.
You can make it over there. You're not doing anything now, so you might as well just go see, maybe 1 or 2 more enemies will pop up." And then it was fucking 5 more popped up, and then 3 more popped up. On top of those, and then then obviously we blamed Jeff for that because it was his fault. He willed that into being.
Yes.
Yeah. He was like, guys, there's only 2 people, and I can go explore this. And what's the worst that can happen? And he actually said that. I'm pretty sure.
Verbatim. Yeah.
Direct quote.
Yeah. You can quote me on it. I believe he said. What's the worst? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can use my words against me. Yes. I believe I said.
Yeah. A jury of my peers will convict me. If needed.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, real. Yeah.
Zach, you could probably move a little to your left.
Well, I would, but there's...
I mean, you can move that.
It's
not heavy.
I know. I just didn't want to move it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe it shouldn't have been there in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect me to do? Rearrange the studio every single time you guys come over?
Yes.
Because that's exactly what happens every time we come back. After MHDD.
Yeah.
Shrugs.
I give a fuck is broken today.
At least it was cooler today. It was so hot.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
We did win that second mission.
Mm-hmm.
We fought the big model of the game for the first time.
Yeah, the nice washed deluxe model.
Yeah.
And we got to put out the big fucking dragon skull.
No, we didn't get to put out the big dragon thing. There was just like part of that thing.
That's what I said, the skull.
We did put out the skull part, but not the entire fucking
dragon, whatever it is.
Dragon skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still going well. Still enjoying it.
Yeah. We may have lost part of a save from our previous session that we did at the end because we vaguely remember things that we did. There was a whole weapon equipped that just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And then when we started, apparently I found out that we had a rune of blades that only I could use.
You went to attack or something.
Yeah, it was the only one that I had, and then I realized that I forgot to unequip it, and it takes an XP to use, so I had to get rid of one of my skills, and it really, really sort of hampered my ability to do shit. Although because it's a good support weapon, and that it helped Paul do a lot of good shit, which was nice. Because my is basically when a hero attacks, if they're using the slash damage, I can put a fatigue token on that, and then they get a success.
Oh, I see.
And that's fucking 4 to 8 damage, depending on
blocking.
And if his 5% thing procs way more than it
double
should.
Damage. Yeah. That double damage though.
Pretty clutch.
Pretty nice. I think we've seen it dump 61 damage, 91 damage.
I saw 91 damage once with it.
Yeah, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, just wait till you get like the upgraded weapons that do like a damage type like slash, stab, bludgeon, and like a element type, and you catch an enemy that is like
both.
Oh,
my crossbow can do. No, was it the bolts? The upgraded bolts can let me do that on proc.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had one for Varric's that one of his like add-ons, like his wrap or something, gave him 100% chance to tag Animos. And so like he was doing air damage on every attack.
Nice.
It was great.
Okay.
And then I upgraded it, the spear itself, to add like stabbing, piercing, and bludgeoning. So it did basically 3 types of damage every time I attacked with him, and it was like
that's pretty
just
good.
absolutely get fucked.
Nice.
It feels like we're only just barely done with like Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, there's like a blood witch, and we've stopped her from getting this thing, and that thing, and now what? And I don't. How many missions is this campaign entirety supposed to be?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I have no idea either.
I would say that it is roughly 3 arcs.
Yeah.
Like, and you have now completed arc 1.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, good to hear that we're not like almost done.
Yeah. The ending does just like fucking happen though.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh man, I feel like this is building up to a whole bunch more shit. Oh, we're done.
And game complete.
Dying for
Act
an
one.
expansion. Yeah, dying for an expansion.
Yeah, maybe in Gen Con something will be happening.
Fingers crossed.
That roll and write might be there.
Oh yeah, it will, and I'm gonna pick it up if I can.
And then I'm supposed to pack it into my luggage and ship it back for you?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Naturally.
Naturally.
Cool.
Did you expect something different?
Yeah.
We were just talking about it yesterday. He's like, you're checking it back, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'm not.
Yeah, no, Descent was fun. Paul cooked delicious food, which was also nice.
Yes.
What else you got, Jeff?
So You've Been Eaten, which was a Kickstarter. It is a one-on-one asymmetric game where you play as a giant space creature and then the corporate miner that has been eaten on purpose by said monster to mine the crystals from its internals. It is a conglomeration of various mechanics, a dice placement. The miner works off of dice placement, then uses that to activate various abilities. There is a trench of 7 cards between you and the monster that will have crystals and then colors, or upgrades in colors, or just colors. And then you are using your abilities to eliminate, stun, harvest, or upgrade your minor stuff. And like if you eliminate, you get to like blow up a combo of like up to 3 colors that are together. And then if you stun, you're able to like push cards in that row into a more favorable like set to then eliminate or whatever, because there's only those 7 cards there, but every time you like blow them up, they do all push down at you. So whatever that next card is next to you is going to be the color that attacks of the immune system of the giant monster.
Okay.
And then Zach, who's the monster, will
Rawr.
Yes.
Chomp chomp.
And also was playing as the monster. Will
Nice.
they have what was it, like 7 cards, 2 of each color.
So there are 7 cards, and you refill them. You fill like however many you eliminate. I refill back up to 7.
Oh no, the hand that you attack from that gives you like double based on what color that is.
The mutation one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It was 9.
9.
2 of each color, and then
which there
one
are 4
fake.
colors,
Yeah.
and then a fake out. So he would be putting down a color that he thinks will be next to me at the end of my turn, and if that color is the next color that is basically touching me, it will move up one of his 4 tracks of his colored immune system up 2 instead of 1.
No, it wasn't that. It was you had to get rid of a
Oh,
upgrade.
that's right. Yes. I had to get rid of an upgrade. And if I couldn't get rid of an upgrade, I just lost a crystal. And the goal of the game for the miner is to get 1 of each color crystal, which is 8. There are only 2 of those combo crystal immune system cards per color. So if I have already gotten rid of one and I had the one and I had to get rid of that color, that means I can no longer win the game. I have to go to the end of the game and then win off like your victory point equivalent.
I see.
Yeah, he can't straight win. He has to then beat me.
Yes.
Where I still have my ability to just win.
Yes.
So,
and then the monster has like these 4 upgrade cards that he can choose from at the end of his turn, depending if there's a certain amount of a certain color, if there are certain colors next to each other, or if there's one of each color. And you have to definitely be paying attention to what those are, or you will lose the game very, very quickly, which is exactly what happened to me.
yep.
Because he could just choose them and they become passive, and I have to like spend dice to get rid of them. And then he got one that was like a shield against it, that it was just like, I want to eliminate that one. Well, I get rid of the shield. Okay, well, I'm going to eliminate it anyways. But now I've basically like wasted a whole elimination action, and I only have 3 dice. So like I've spent 2 of my 3 actions just trying to get rid of like his bonus cards.
Mm-hmm. And if you aren't upgrading things, then you're just draining crystals which are your only way for points.
Yes.
Now, there are things that you would now know to do, having played it once. One is that you actually looking at the immune response cards to see what things I could have available to me. So if it's like, hey, I could get one that will make you lose the scout, like the advanced scout one, then you would make sure to have that one out, so you would lose that instead of the crystal.
Yes.
Or like it's like you need to have I need to have two green things next to each other, and so like you eliminate them to have a lesser
or I
chance.
would stun them to
exactly.
move it into a position where it would not work for you.
Yeah,
because you can't move them before your turn.
Yeah.
You just get to replace them in. You get a whole hand of them and get to replace them in an order you so choose, but that's afterwards.
Yeah. And so that's where sort of the problem of just eliminating everything you can, like it's sort of a double-edged sword then, is like, okay, true, I don't have a lot of stuff, but then my entire hand, I can put it out however I want.
Yes.
So I think it was just a lot of being overly aggressive and realizing that the game isn't about that as much.
No.
So,
because the cards also have upgrades on them that I can get these one-time use tokens to do other things, and but yeah, once the monster got a bunch of like these mutation things, it was just kind of and also like the monster can just win if he gets 5 of those, and just be like, and I win because I have 5 mutations.
Yep,
and just be like,
I've evolved past was it space capitalism?
Yeah. And you can get up to 2 of those per turn or something, right?
No, I can only get 1 a turn.
Okay. But then you had the shield thing that let me only eliminate like that and 1 other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were just a lot of turns where you couldn't get.
And then there was a bunch that have like on acquire, do something shitty, and then just have a passive continue to be shitty like ability.
Yeah.
And where the dice placement comes in is the 7 cards that are in front of you are 1 through 7. So your dice actually like have to be placed in certain spots to damage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And then you have to have like an upgraded ability that lets you go to like the 7 card. And if, let's say, all the fucking crystals come out like first thing, and then you're like, well, I'm going to have to blow up some of these. And then you do. I would recommend don't, because you want the crystals.
Yep.
Love those crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you like mine a crystal you already have, it's just like gone. So, yeah, not the easiest game to really be like, oh, I need to do this or I'm gonna fuck up hard. You just fuck up hard and then learn after that.
Interesting.
Also, the like collector's edition dice tower that came with it is
garbage.
Garbo. It's like slide into the tray. It's like super short, and it's just like if I placed a die in here without like trying to tumble it, it would just be like I should just roll the fucking die. I would rather have a dice like tray to like roll in than this very dumb dice tower.
Gotcha.
Not enough randomization in that tower. That
is
sure.
very
It's just
true.
kind of like 1-1 into the tray. It's basically a slide into the tray. May as well just have been a slide.
Okay.
But I would like to play it again. It looks cool. The game components are very nice.
He's talking about So You've Been Eaten.
Yes.
For those wondering.
Yes. So You've Been Eaten. Yeah, it was neat. I liked it. I would like to play it more, and hopefully I'm not instantaneously murdered as much.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like War of the Worlds where it was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I knew what I was doing wrong after wrong was happening. Yeah. And not like War of the Worlds where it was like, okay, cool, I'm going to build all these supply depots and then I'm going to get extra income every turn and then build these tanks, and then it's just like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, you did those things? Huh, that must suck. And we're like, oh, cool, now I can't do that for like another entire shuffle of my deck, and I lost.
Yeah.
It was not that. Thankfully. Another way the miner can win is if he gets rid of all of the cards like that are in the deck. So
that's what basically
you can be aggressive and win that way as well, but that takes longer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sure. Cool.
Yep.
Anything else?
I mean, yes, but Zach has to talk about something at some point.
Yeah.
So.
But you haven't talked in a while. You haven't talked about things, Adrian.
Well, we usually let one person just spew all
I
their
know.
word vomit.
He's done enough word vomiting, sounds
Okay.
like.
I have to leave at least one game for Zach to talk about.
Fair enough. Alrighty, so what have I played? Oh man,
Do you just want to take a nap? It looks like
I
you
do just want to take a nap. So I played. Let's see. So I'd forgotten to talk about the last time I recorded. I forgot to talk about a game of Nemesis that I played with Eric and Kaiser, and I don't remember who the fourth person was.
Was it Eric?
He already said Eric.
I already said Eric.
Oh,
Eric and
Ryan?
Kaiser
The person that has the game?
and Ryan. Yes, that's correct. And it wasn't Kaiser. I hope maybe he's not in the.
I thought Kaiser played it.
Then it wasn't.
I'm
it
pretty
wasn't
sure he
Eric.
was the one that was giving you shit about
It wasn't
not
Eric.
playing
It was Kaiser, not Eric, and it was my friend Casey from my D&D group. Yeah, so it was Kaiser, Casey, and Ryan. Because Casey had also gotten it and was really eager to play it. So we set it up, we played it.
Base aliens.
Continued to play a bunch of things wrong. Even with Ryan there as the supposed expert.
I don't know if
He
you
doesn't
want to
play
rely.
games anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to rely on him for that.
Like one of the big things that we forgot to do, it basically had to do with like, so if you have noise tokens completely surrounding you and you roll the one that like would put one everywhere, you just don't put any out. So, but we were putting them out, so we were causing like multiple spawns and shit and things that shouldn't have happened.
You were being real noisy bitches.
Yeah. And then
I'm sure the aliens loved it.
yeah. And so we were getting kind of our asses kicked. We were all still alive. Most of us had finished our goals amazingly. Like at the end of it, we revealed everything, and like no one had a like betray someone goal. Like so we could have all won together. We thought that when you put out your like 8th fire that it was game over, but it's not. It's one of those games where when you would add a fire and you cannot because you're out of pieces, that's when it's over. So we really had a chance to like try and fight the fires a little bit or like still get things under control. But by the time we realized that we'd started to clean up and it had already been a fairly long game. And so we were all like, yeah, we're fine just kind of calling this one. It was fun. I was glad to play it again. It does definitely give you that feeling of like all of the different alien movies, the xenomorph movies where like everyone's just getting their shit wrecked and you're just barely trying to survive. Yeah. We didn't have a Marine, so we had no combat, which was hurting.
Fun.
At one point, I was hiding in the med bay, healing myself repeatedly in between strikes from the Queen until she just got bored and went to another room.
So she just hit you and you just bandage yourself. Hit you, bandage yourself.
I pretended like I was laying in the bed, like, and it was healing me as fast as she was hitting me. And then eventually she just thought I was a corpse and just left. She just got bored, like, this is just a body on a table. I'm done whacking it. So that was interesting and or fun and or something in between. I don't think, Zach, have we played Season 0 since... I think we have played Season 0 since the last time we recorded.
I have not played Season 0 since the last time I played Season 0. Sometime May, probably May, I think.
Y'all should pick that back up.
Especially because we only have like 2 months left.
Yeah. So we had when we had left off, I think the last time we talked about it, we had our first fail.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we went back and replayed that month, and we won, like destroyed it, like did so good. It was like, oh wow, why didn't we do that in the first place?
Not only just did we focus on those things more, but it seems like this one is a lot more about having you succeed if you fail once versus just being like, oh, you're just gonna play the entire thing over again.
I believe it's a deek.
A deek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we played again, and we got a full-on suck on that one.
Yeah.
A big old success.
From a deek to suck?
From a deek to suck.
Well, we had fail, and then we had success.
I see.
Yeah. I thought we had fail a deek.
No, because the...
oh, that's right, because the way it does... Because it does, like, the one thing we succeeded on in our fail, when you get to carry over, that thing starts already finished. And so you only have to focus on the other two things.
Which were very easy.
Which ended up being relatively super easy.
Yeah.
So we are back on the high horse. We unlocked a bunch of stuff, not all of it good.
Yeah.
And we'll see where things go. We've started. We've entered the space era.
Yes.
We'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. Yeah.
The space race continues.
Yes.
Yeah. There are definitely some interesting new mechanics in that one.
Did you space NATO or?
We have not space.
No, we just said it
yet.
for ops.
Oh, no, sorry, CIA. Usually space CIA. Paul, do you space CIA?
I think that is one that you always want to space. As Russia, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to space CIA as the U.S.
Yeah, seems good. Seems good.
But yeah, so that one was good. We're on our winning ways. We definitely have like very unbalanced characters though, and I keep waiting. Like I feel like we're now like 2/3 of the way through. I feel like we should be unlocking that third.
Actually, I think we will soon, probably.
I bet after
because we're in September, so yeah.
I
do love that they keep asking you questions that are like you just have to fill out this like questionnaire thing.
Yeah,
and then later they sort of rate you on it, but I'm always just like, I don't like. Should we go high or low?
Well, and it's really annoying because it seems like the questions, like whatever way you go on it, like for the first question, if you rate it high, then the next question is almost always one that, like, if you're being logically consistent, you should rate really low, and vice versa. Like they're like, do you think you can be trustworthy? Like no or yes. Like, and then the second question is like, if someone trusted you with a secret, what is the likelihood you would betray them, with 5 being the highest? It's like, well, I'm very trustworthy 5. So the likelihood I would betray them should be 1. It's very low, like that kind of weird. It's not a real example, but it does seem that like that kind of diametrically opposed questions.
Yep.
I think that there's basically just kind of 3 outcomes, and it depends. And they're all shitty. It's just they're shitty in different ways.
Yeah. No, it definitely felt like we fucked up. But when we got something, we're like, oh no, we answered wrong. And then I was just like, I'm curious. And I looked a little bit, and I was just like, okay.
No, they're all bad. They're just all bad in different ways.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, no,
That's just the game.
Yeah,
that's just the game. Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else I played that was like super exciting or interesting that I really wanted to talk about. I don't think there is. I played a lot of like small party games. I have a coworker who started coming to game night. He's come to the last 2 Wednesday night ones. I've played some games with him, helping the newbies feel welcome. Taught them stockpile at the last game night, and I had one of I got second, but there was one where I felt like I played real bad. But I got second. So yeah, I played Estates and Iberian Gauge with Kaiser and Eric fairly recently. That was a good one because that's not from game night, and neither of those games get played a ton. Well, Iberian Gauge we've played a lot recently. This one was very weird. The way the companies came out and the way we invested in each other's companies and things, it was very much like just a co-op game for a while, and then it very hard wasn't. And
there was a turn.
Kaiser got hung out to dry hard. The one company he got control of, Eric and I were able to just trash immediately to where it had no money and nothing really to do. And then Eric and I had one company we both were equally in on it more than Andrew, and so we were able to make a lot of money off of that. And then Eric had another company that he was just super well invested in that did very well, so he won handily.
I think I like Cube Rail games.
Yeah, I definitely like Cube Rail games.
I like all those capstone Cube Rails.
I'm always down to play.
Yeah,
I got a new map for Irish Gauge when I was at Trax. That's just like a paper map that you play with all the Irish Gauge components, but a new map. That's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. They're they end within a reasonable amount of time without the need of an Excel sheet.
Correct.
So I do enjoy them.
Yeah. A lot of the same thinky parts of an 18XX, just in a reasonable
and a lot of fucky
60 to 180
parts as well,
or 60 to 120.
Yeah.
Estates was weird, like Estates always is. Especially since Andrew had sort of played it before, I think, maybe. I don't know. He'll correct me if I'm wrong since he's in chat. Eric had not played it. So, and I had not played it in a long time. So, we taught it and then played it in about an hour. Eric ended up winning that one also just stupidly, high score. I think. He at least certainly had a shit ton of money cards at the end.
If he dies, I believe is...
Yeah, yes. It was fun. I definitely would like to play Estates regularly enough with the same group of people that we could start playing with the rule where you set out to play 3 games and it's the cumulative score, and because one thing that doesn't reset is money. So you have to be more judicial about how to spend your money, because if one person gets all the money in the first game, then they just control everything in the second game and you'll never catch them. And if somebody ever wins 2 in a row, then they just immediately win, I think is the rule there. But I would like to do that once I got to a group that knew the game better and was down to play it fast but longer, like 3 faster games that would ultimately take a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we played a game. Megan had gotten home from work at about that time, and so she joined us for a 4-player game of Harry Potter Deck Builder, where we got raffle stomped. We played
what year?
We played year 7 plus the first act from Monster Book of Monsters, like the first box from Monster Book of Monsters, and we
Is
just
it literally called Monster Book of Monsters?
No, it's the Monster Book of Monsters.
The Monster Book of Monsters.
Okay. Yes. That's
learn to Harry Potter, man.
That is literally what I just asked, I believe.
And yes, and I don't know why Zach
the
was
way
like,
you put
no.
emphasis, you're like monster, comma, Book of Monsters.
No, sorry. You didn't hear the colon that was between monster,
but
colon,
there isn't.
Book of
But there's
Monsters?
no colon.
That's
it's the
it.
Monster
Well,
Book.
now you're wrong because
of
you
Monsters.
said comma instead of colon.
No, I meant
so-
I meant either one of them, like monster.
It sounded like there was a pause in your
Yes.
statement, and it's the Monster Book of Monsters.
Yes.
And in the Harry Potter lore, the book is literally a monster
yeah.
that like scurries around and like tries to like bite you.
Harry Potter is stupid.
Yes. Well,
I mean,
I thought it was stupid before it was cool.
J.K. Rowling is dumb as fuck.
Yes.
But I understand people who still like the
But the game is
IP.
but the game is good.
I do like the deck building game. I am glad that I got the deck building game before the full depths of J.K. Rowling's shittiness.
I purchased the game online from Hot Topic for $12 many years ago.
We got ours. I think I even got mine used from Black and Red. So like all of the money I spent on it went to Black and Red, and none of it went to J.K. Rowling's
I got it.
transphobic
I got
ass.
it at a
Hot Topic got all my Harry Potter money.
Yeah. Well,
Like a lot of people's Harry Potter
I
money.
got mine from like a Goodwill
Yeah.
for $5. So
I definitely wish that somebody would like reskin that game because I think it is a really good deck builder, and so I would love to see it reskinned to not be Harry Potter. Yes, Boyd, everyone is indeed shitty, but some people manage to somehow still be even more shitty. I've got banter things to talk about there.
It's fine. Moving along.
That's going to be, I think, it for the games that I'm going to talk about. We've done a couple episodes of MHDD that is going great. We are vaguely in the Underdark and fighting all kinds of monsters and doing crazy shit.
I've played a game about that before.
Tyrants of the Underdark?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of anything else, really. Like I said, a lot of, like, no thanks and kind of more party game things. So.
Yeah.
There we go. Zach, did you have one last thing you wanted to squeak in there?
So let's see. I played Mansions of Madness. I played that with Jeff was supposed to play, but he was sick, so he couldn't.
I was thinking I was getting sick. I did not get sick.
Okay.
But I had been around people that were sick, and I felt sick.
It was one of those, like, is this, like, the start of a cold in my throat, or did I just sleep funny and snort all night?
Uh-huh. Yes.
That's how I felt that night, but that was also because we had tequila, beer, and then also basically wine and Fanta, or wine and Sprite, I think. It was one of the most refreshing things I've ever drank. Paul agreed with me on that, and also he was very drunk. So, but that night I very much was just like, oh God, did I get sick somehow? And then I just woke up the next morning and I felt fine. But for Mansions of Madness, we decided to play one of the serpent scenarios, which I was like, there's 3 serpent scenarios, and the 2 I've played have been pretty shitty, but I haven't played this one. Well, now I'll let you know, all 3 of them are shitty.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Cool.
So you've played Mansions of Madness, right? Both of you guys? You
Yes.
understand how the insanity mechanic works?
Yes.
Vaguely.
Okay. So there's sort of a running joke of how Mike Jones always gets pyromaniac or pyromania. I was the first person to go insane. So this one, we were in a jungle. We were looking around like abandoned camps and trying to collect information before a big serpent came and attacked us, and we had to fight it off, right? So I became insane first because the snake kept attacking me, and when no one else was around, it was real annoying. And Eric is the one. So it was Paul, Eric, Ant, and Julie. So it was 5 of us.
Okay.
And so Eric was the one talking about how Mike Jones always gets hit, and so I was like, "All right, this is on you." I shuffled up the deck. There's 26 conditions in the insane deck. I tell him, cut it, and I'm going to draw the top one. I draw the top one. When you know it, it's pyromania. And here's the thing, though, is that everybody had torches, which is pretty cool. that's going to be great for lighting things on fire, except every round somebody's torch went out.
It was always yours?
No, it was just everybody else's torches went out. And then I was joking about like I was working people. And it's like, of course I got this thing. And then Ant had matches on him. So I went to steal those matches from him. And then they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm stealing matches because I'm a pyromaniac. Duh. And, we all had a laugh about that. But then what it turns out is we had a fire on the ground. And then the scenario is like, at the end of each round, every fire goes out.
Oh. You can't light any. So what you're saying is you can't light anything on fire. And anything you do light on fire will just go out.
Yes. And so I was already very defeated in there. And then in the scenario, something targeted somebody with a light source, and they targeted Ant because he still had those matches. He dropped the matches, and then every square that he was on, or the area he was on, and all adjacent ones, immediately caught on fire. There were 6 spaces on fire, and Pyromania just needs 6 spaces in order to win on your turn. Except I didn't get that chance because literally the app goes, hey, all of these things are on fire now. Now everything is no longer on fire.
And they all just immediately went out.
And I was like, this is fucking bullshit. So
we're going to hand you victory and then we're going to take it away.
Immediately. So now I know if I'm ever playing this scenario again, just fucking throw Pyromania to the fucking trash for this scenario. Because it could not happen. Nothing I could do could make that happen. It was really frustrating. Even Ant was like, you should have won that.
What if you just got good?
There was a ceiling about getting good, and then unfortunately the ceiling was full of water that then brought me immediately back down. So yeah, it was not a great one. Even the scenario itself was not great. Had a lot of overgrowth, which is annoying to have to deal with. So let's see. I played that. I played Isle of Cats with the Beasts and Kittens expansion. So Isle of Cats, you have a boat. Everybody has their play area is a boat, and you're drafting cats more or less, drafting cards to get cats to put on your boat.
Polyomino cats.
Exactly, because as you know, cats can't just lay in a straight line. They have to lay every fucking way they want.
Which is accurate.
Yeah, 100%. So the Beasts expansion, the Beasts and Kittens are 2 parts. The first one, the Beasts, at the beginning of the game, in the first round, you can get beasts instead of because when you're getting those cats, you either pay three fish on one side or 5 fish on the other. For the first round, the cats that would be in the 5 fish spot are replaced by the beasts. The beasts are bigger, so they take up more space, and then they can they're like friends with certain colors of cats. And if you build families of that color of cat and are touching that area, you basically get 5 extra points a game. So it sort of gives you a good place to build out for yellow cats or purple cats or green cats, right?
Okay.
And then the Kittens expansion, it basically adds another area that the first person each round can get kittens, which are they're 1 to 3 size. Instead of the cats, the bigger ones being anywhere from 4 to 7, we'll say, of the polyomino squares.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use them. You can either buy 1 for 2 or 2 for 5, and they both only take up 1 basket to capture 2 of them. So they're good for filling little areas, and then each of them counts towards a family. So it can increase your score there. It was pretty good. I ended up stomping. I want to say the final score, I had 91 and the next person had 72. And it turned out I had 4 endgame conditions that I was able to succeed on all of them. It was the center room, I had to remain empty. The front and the back room had to be full. I could only have 5 rats being shown, and I had everything exact. And then when I was reading my points off, Wes was just oh, God damn it. And he realized that he misread one of his cards because I had one that was about full and the one about it being empty. And he had a full card, but he thought it meant empty. So he left it or the opposite. It needed to be empty, but he put it as full instead. So he fucked himself out of a bunch of points that way.
That'll happen.
Yeah. It's still a fun game. If you have the base game for that, I think that expansion is definitely worth it.
There's more that was expanded.
Correct.
In that thing though, right? I felt like there was 8 different modules that was in that last Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yes. The person who brought it, she only had just that one, I think, but there's a lot of them.
Yes, there's a lot of Isle of Cats.
Yep.
Yeah.
City of Kings.
Same universe.
Spiritual sequel.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes place weirdly in that same dark world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Played Matryoshka. Always like introducing that to new people. And it's just like Konami Koji. I think that it's pretty much anyone I've introduced it to has been like, oh, I really like that game after playing it.
I still have not played it.
What?
I have still not ever played it.
All right, well,
how dare you?
Yeah.
Every time
You're a real piece of
I come
shit,
to
you know
game night,
that.
like you guys always
No.
get a game going without like me having a chance to jump
This is
in.
your fault.
It's on you. You see us play it once, shame on us. You see it play it twice, shame on you.
What about if I've seen you play it like a half dozen times?
Shame on George W. Bush.
Totally. That
Yeah.
guy can get fucked.
Never get fooled again. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I also played like various games of the game, cribbage, that sort of stuff. All good sort of things. But those are the main ones.
Yeah, you had a pretty clutch cribbage win at Strange the other night.
You mean the one I lost?
Did Paul end up winning?
Yeah, Paul ended up winning.
You would have won.
I would have won, but I lost.
Yeah. All I know is I got not actually too bad in the end.
Yes.
But for most of the game, I felt like I was getting smoked.
100%, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to some banters. So a lot has happened in the 3 weeks since we last recorded, starting with the Avs won the Stanley Cup and shockingly did not burn the city down. Well, the Avs didn't burn the city down the last time they won. The fans did. Fans did not burn the city of Denver down. We do still exist. That was not the reason for our absence. Like Denver didn't riot like they did the last time the Avs won.
It didn't seem like there was a lot
Didn't
of that.
get too rowdy.
They did the game that they won away. They did shut down the Tivoli like watch party because apparently like the Friday game they were like climbing because they had reached capacity and people were like breaking down the fences and like basically just shoving their way into the watch area. And
Jesus.
They were like, well, the weather's going to be bad Sunday. So on Saturday, they announced that they were going to cancel it, not because the people were breaking down the fences yesterday, but because the weather's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was probably for the best because then they won and then they didn't have to deal with 10,000 people breaking down fences.
I feel like if it had come to Game 7 and been back here in Denver, it would have been real gnarly.
Yeah.
Once again, sports fans.
Sports fans, man.
Among the worst.
Definitely. As a sports fan, I can attest that we are some of the worst.
Yes.
I belong to a lot of communities that are just the fucking worst, and sports fans is one of them.
Yep.
I can tell you
Star Wars, Marvel.
Yep.
Men's
Formula
rights.
One.
Straight, white, male.
I can't read Formula One Twitter comments anymore because it's all just fucking horseshit.
Speaking of sports fan shit that is enraging, so the Broncos have been undergoing this new ownership thing. They were for sale. They are officially bought. They got bought by fucking one of the Waltons.
The Walmart folks.
Yeah, which is already infuriating. And then it was just announced
because
today.
they own all Denver sports teams except baseball.
Yes, with a heavy asterisk because like technically it's owned by
the husband
Kroenke,
of
but he's married to a Walton, so
and then like she owns like another different sports team.
A lot of like this isn't supposed to happen.
Is it the Rams?
No, they used to own the Rams.
Okay.
They might still own the Rams. It might have been the Kroenkes who ran the Rams out of St. Louis and over to LA. I don't know. But it was just announced today that Condoleezza Rice is joining the ownership team for the Broncos.
Great.
So, speaking of fuck George Bush, fuck Condoleezza Rice too. I don't want her on my fucking football team. It's bullshit. John Elway's a fucking Trumper. It's just all garbage.
Cool.
Might have to stop being a Broncos fan.
If only.
Which is sad. Just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't want to keep giving them. Well, I haven't given them money in a long time, but
it's got to watch real sport.
Like Formula One.
Or men's volleyball.
Or UFC. That's got a much healthier fan base.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
gross. No.
Let's see. Other shit. Like I said, we canceled the one episode because Megan and I went to one of the marches downtown after the repeal of Roe, or the overturning of Roe. That was actually pretty impressive. I was really surprised at we had a good amount of people who came out, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, people are going to really do a lot of stuff. And then, like, every protest after that fizzled. And it was just like, well, fuck. So I was disappointed. Yep. But it was nice to get out and be, like, doing that at least a little bit. I got a new truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
speaking of, who gets rights to the driveway now? Or is it going to be a first come, first serve?
Who's on the deed to the house?
Okay, all right.
I do not have rights to the driveway.
Okay.
There's that little like brick pad. We can technically fit two vehicles, but I'm the one who has to jump the curb, which is fair because I've got the big truck now that can jump a curb like it's nothing. It's good at jumping curbs.
Yeah. Did you get those side panel things off yet, or the side foot things off yet? Or are they still?
No, yeah, they're still there.
Okay.
I haven't looked into because they don't bother me too much. Like, they're a mild annoyance for me. You know, they apparently destroyed your calves.
They didn't know it was the back, and it was just a scrape. That's all. But they're you know how some like real tall trucks will have like extra step thing.
Yeah.
His truck has that, but the truck is not tall enough to need one of those.
I see.
And in fact, makes it more annoying to get into.
Yeah. So the problem is so it's got like these tubes, which are great, and those would be fine because they kind of sit almost under the truck and aren't really in the way. But then there's like at each door, there's a little step that like comes off the bottom of the tube, and it's just it's positioned just right to where it's even for my short ass, it's more in the way than not.
Yep.
So I need to crawl under there and see if the steps can be unbolted from the rest of that rail, and be good to go. I love the truck, and if anything happens to it, I will destroy everyone.
I see.
I finished The Boys,
as did we all.
As did we all. Less got resolved than I anticipated at the end. Like I expected a little bit more like resolution at the end of this season than there was.
Yeah, I feel like the main thrust of the season got resolved.
Yeah.
And then some side stuff.
I'm being vague over. Spoiler alert, but we'll be vague.
Yes.
Not say any real spoilers.
It was good.
It was good. Yeah, the final episode was really good. I liked it a lot.
Are you just naming things around the room and saying you love it, or do you really love the truck?
I cannot see the truck right now.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm not. It's not like I love curtain or I love
lamp.
microphone.
I love
lamp.
Yeah,
there's not a lamp in here.
I don't know. Are these lights technically?
I feel like that would technically be a lamp.
I would not call those lamps.
Okay.
I would call those floodlights.
I love floodlight.
I love floodlight. I love Yeti koozie.
All three of them?
All two, three. I do see three of them.
Yep.
Is there a fourth one?
No, there is not.
Anyway, Stranger Things also finished, also good. Zach, you're a monster for having never seen anything at all.
Technically,
Stranger
there
Things.
is a fourth in this
Ooh,
room.
Look at that. More Yeti.
Because there's a water bottle.
This podcast now brought to you by Yeti.
Yeah.
If we say that enough, do we think they'll send us a free cooler?
I think I saw.
No, they just send. Jeff is the only one that gets the free Yeti shit.
Yeah. It is.
Oh God.
Well, hello, Jester.
It is branded with Haas hops. So.
Gotcha.
Not Haas Racing.
No, it is not. Oh, not the mechanic company. Moving along.
Yep.
From Truck Love.
You said Stranger Things, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yes, I finished Stranger Things. It was good.
I liked it a lot. One of my favorite seasons yet.
Yes. It also helped that it was like 15 hours long or whatever. It was very long.
I really liked that they kind of gave up on like trying to have it be uniform episode lengths. We're like, some of these episodes are just going to take us 2.5 hours. I think the finale could have used a little bit of editing.
Yeah, like the whole prison story probably
almost didn't need to exist at all.
Did not need to be there after a certain point, and it was like, we have to go back, Kate. We have to go back to the island. Like level.
Oh my God! It was a flash forward, not a flash back. What?
Now it's Lost spoilers.
Now it's Lost spoilers.
I've never seen any Lost.
You knew it was a flash forward because his phone actually
Exactly. Yeah. Talking about the 4th season of Lost. First episode. Spoilers.
Yes. We have to go back. We watched Thor, Love and Thunder.
Holy fucking mediocre.
I thought it was also very middle of the road.
I was immediately like disappointed in the like CGI. I don't think
I was disappointed, and I never noticed like shitty CGI.
Well, and then I read like there's apparently like a bunch of Marvel like CGI people are like super pissed and like on the verge of striking for like being overworked and stuff. And then like
most CGI companies.
Yeah.
And then there was like a Vanity Fair thing that came out where like Taika and the Valkyrie actress, Tessa.
Yep.
Were like making fun of how bad the CGI was in the clip that they were like doing. Like for the Vanity Fair piece.
Yeah.
And like the tweet I saw about it was like, imagine being one of these CGI workers who's like upset and like feeling overworked and everything, and then the director and one of the main actresses just gets on Vanity Fair and shits all over your work. Like
yeah.
But Megan and I both like were like, Megan was upset because she stayed an extra day. She was supposed to have left early Thursday morning. She stayed all day Thursday to watch it. And she was like, that was fucking stupid. I should not have done that. Both of us very disappointed.
Oh, it was fine. It wasn't the first one, but
it was fine at best.
Yeah.
It was on the lower 50% of Thor movies.
It was probably lower 50% of like Marvel movies.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Like I have exactly the same amount of desire to watch it again as I have to ever watch Dark World again.
Oh, I'd much rather watch this 100 times before I rewatch Dark World.
I haven't watched Dark World in so long that I'm starting to forget how bad it was, I think.
Yeah.
Need to go back and refresh.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like a lot of people when they were like Jurassic Park 3 wasn't the worst one because they haven't seen it in years, and then they watch it and then they're like, oh, right.
Yeah, I had that experience.
And then Fallen Kingdom came out and they're like, oh, no, that was actually the worst. But yeah.
Also have not seen that. I've avoided that as well.
Is that the most recent one?
No, that was Dominion.
Oh, Dominion was the most recent one.
Dominion was better, it was not as bad as Fallen Kingdom, and that's
okay.
That's it.
Because I haven't seen Dominion. I have seen Fallen Kingdom.
It was not a high bar.
No, exactly.
Yeah, when the fucking crazy genetically whatever dinosaur winks at the camera before biting a dude's arm off. Fucking stupid shit.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it was just like, oh, it's like a serial killer now. For me, it's still that they're like, these dinosaurs, we're gonna auction them off, and they're going for $6-7 million. Yeah. It's definitely not like we've seen just skulls.
$1 million.
We've seen just skulls go for like 30 plus
Nicolas
million.
Cage owns one.
Exactly.
Strange New Worlds finale'd this last week.
I heard it was pretty strong.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Strange New Worlds is very good. I like it a lot. Way better than that horseshit Picard.
I'll take your word on that one.
Yeah, please do.
I know a lot of people who like Picard. It seems to be very divisive.
No comment.
I haven't seen it. The last new Star Trek I watched was whatever the third
Beyond.
movie was. That was
Idris Elba?
Also not great.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It's better than Into Darkness.
I don't know.
The Orville continues to be great.
Yeah,
I need to re-get Hulu.
Great
I don't
Star
have Hulu
Trek
anymore. I need to get Hulu.
I do the $1 a month thing on Black Friday, and then I get the good ad blocker on my computer, and then I don't have to fucking worry about ads and paying $1 a month to watch Hulu.
But then you have to watch it on your computer.
I do have to watch it on my computer, yes.
That's the problem.
But most of the stuff I'm watching on Hulu is stuff that I would have on a second monitor while I'm doing something else anyways.
That's true.
Like season after season of Archer or Bob's Burgers or whatever.
My TV is where I do those things, though, because then I play games on my computer.
Well, your second monitor is your TV, and that's your own fault.
Yep.
What else ended? So a bunch of Ms. Marvel's still going. They got one more.
Yep. Umbrella Academy.
I haven't watched that.
That was good.
I don't have Netflix anymore.
I borrowed
because I was just like, I'm not paying $20 a month for this shit.
Yeah.
The Boys ended. What else am I
Talk about The Boys.
What else am I fucking watching?
I don't know.
Oh, I started watching up Only Murders in This Building.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about it.
It annoys me because it's like True Crime, the TV show, the True Crime podcast, the TV show, but it's really good. So
that annoys you that it's really good?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Because they are people that are obsessed with true crime podcasts, and then this thing happens, and then they want to make their own true crime podcast about this murder that happens in the building. And then Tina Fey's in it, and she's great, and Martin Short's in it, it's great, and they're all great. But I
Tina Fey's in it?
Yes, absolutely. Tina Fey is in it. She is the number one true crime podcaster in that they all listen to, and that's why they get together to make their own true crime podcast about this dude. And then there's a lot of mystery and stuff, and it's good. It's
you just hate true crime. So you hate the show about
true crime
is good.
so much. Yeah. But S-Town was really good, so I don't know. Maybe
Did you ever watch American Vandal?
No.
On
American
Netflix?
Vandal is fucking great.
So fucking good.
I really would love them to do a third season.
So the people that did that are now doing something on Apple TV called Players, which is sort of like a mockumentary.
Continue. I just remember the other show that I was watching. No.
Was it Players?
No.
Oh.
I just remember the other show I was watching, but continue.
Okay. So that one, it's sort of a mockumentary-esque sort of thing, but for League of Legends, esports sort of shit, and I've heard really good things about.
Only For All Mankind. Yeah, For All Mankind. Where I learned where we all learned in season 3 the worst way to die in space. A new worst way to die in space.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah. You know that scene in Austin Powers where he's like, "Get out of the way!"
The steamroller.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, but in space.
Good old Michael McDonald.
Yes, Mad TV's Michael McDonald.
I love that there's a deleted scene of it cuts to his family.
Oh yeah, getting the news.
Yeah, getting the news that he died
by being run over by a steamroller.
Yep.
Has to break the news to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's always a Saw level. I had said this in Slack. There's always a weird Saw level death that happens in For All Mankind at least once a season.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed this was the one, because boy was it rough.
God, I can't even imagine what
I assume caught between two parts of a ship or something, and just squished inside a spacesuit.
No, it's just a space steamroller. It looks weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, they just brought that up into space.
Yeah.
They had to go to Mars. How are they going to pave Mars without a space steamroller? Got to land that on the planet, right?
You got me there.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It was the landing.
I don't have a lot else for banters.
I haven't played much game-wise.
I've gotten back into Satisfactory. We started installing conveyors at work, and I was like, "Oh, conveyors, you say?"
Oh, you want to talk about some fucking conveyors? I got some conveyors at work because we're putting in a new cartoner for our cans, so they'll be in cardboard cartons instead of those PacTech 6-pack things. But we got all the conveyance in, which was 6. Imagine a tractor trailer and pallets that are the size of a quarter of a tractor trailer, and then we got 6 of those pallets. But they don't fit through the docks, so you have to get them outside, which means you bring it to the end of the trailer, take 2 forklifts into the side of the pallet, because it's too heavy for one forklift. All 3 of you lift it off the end of the trailer, and then you tell the driver to drive forward so you have room to lower it, and then all 3 of you synchronize lowering your forks at the same time till it touches the ground.
Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
It went okay. Everything was fine. But we got all the conveyance in without actually getting the cartoner in, because the actual cartoner got pushed back 3 weeks. So we got all the other shit in without actually getting the thing that we need
do you happen to know the company that makes your conveyors?
I have no idea. I'm sure I could look at it. It's everywhere. So
I'd be vaguely curious.
Yeah.
The first image of the James Webb telescope got released.
It was super great.
Yeah.
I saw a cool one that was one of the ones from Hubble, and then it transitioned into that one, and it was oh damn.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was supposed to be the same deep field whatever, that they were just let's just do the deep field and do a 1-to-1 comparison, and it was the Hubble took 10 days to take that, and it took the James Webb 24 hours to do it. So
yeah, I think that's a really good one for them to use as a good comparison, because lets people see like, this is what this is all
Yeah,
about.
I did not realize that they had done something that was done before, so they could like compare and contrast.
I want to say these first shots are pretty much like things that we already have pictures of.
Yeah.
Or just so we can see how
A/B
much
test. Like
exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sure a little bit of like PR, like, hey, this is what it was before, and here's the justification for all of that money and time and effort that we spent.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest comes out tomorrow. So
yeah, super
and
excited.
You realize how fucking blurry that Hubble space, the Hubble deep field picture is once you see some of it, and you're like, oh shit.
Oh, now I can just see.
Yeah.
It's still funny, like how blurry some of the James Webb one is. Like some of that shit is so fucking far away. Like,
well, a lot of the weird blurriness is actually like
movement. And...
No, it's light bending around galaxies and other objects between.
We're using
Also, yes.
Yeah, because we use gravity as a
lens.
A lens.
Yeah.
That's how we can see some shit that's like 5 billion years old. So
more.
Yeah.
More than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what's going to be on there tomorrow.
Same here.
And the Reddit thread was like, nah, I'm super disappointed. This is not like what I was expecting. And it was just like, fuck you. Like, what were you expecting?
Were you expecting to to zoom in into a planet and just like see a dude's dick or something like that?
Yeah.
100%.
We found this alien jerking off. We thought we'd throw that up for the president to talk about.
That seems like a good time as any to transition.
Probably.
To something else.
Probably.
What do we got on?
Moving on to some news and Kickstarters.
First up in news, Furnace, that game that we're like, it's okay, is getting an expansion.
Indeed it is.
And then we're all kind of like, that could be okay.
Yeah. So it expands the player count from 2 to 4 to 1 to 5. So it both can play less and play more. It also extends the timeline into the 30s, the 20s and 30s, but continues to essentially be the same game. It adds some new cards and I think some new of the variable player power cards.
The starter card
Yeah,
thing.
some university cards that add managers to your factory. This doesn't mention anything about what managers actually do. And then there's bots for the
So
solo
it's like real
and
life.
2-player game.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like Furnace and want more Furnace, there's more Furnace.
I would play it. I like it well enough, and I definitely could add more. Could stand to add more things to it.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it a shot. Next up in news,
there is yet another Clank coming called Clank Catacombs.
Yeah. So this is a new standalone version of Clank. The big
Kinda standalone.
It's standalone. It is
technically standalone, but it is also compatible with
it is
all
compatible,
of the other.
But you don't have to have the old stuff to play this one. The big selling point of this one is that it is a modular board, so you build the board kind of every time. I think.
Yeah, it's all it's all tiles, and then you're just like betrayal-y kind of placing tiles as you explore the mansion that is Catacombs.
Yeah. So just for clarification, it's Clank in Space, and then Clank Catacombs?
Correct.
Okay. So Clank in Space did have partial.
Yes.
It had, like, in the center of it, you could have things in, like, 3 different ways. So it seems like they've just fully embraced that for this one.
Sure.
Where there is no board at all.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
just these tiles.
Yep. We need to play Clank Legacy at some point.
Yes, we do. Clank Legacy has been a very fun legacy
Need to play
game.
Betrayal Legacy.
Yes, we do.
Betrayal Legacy has been a very good betrayal game.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Clank Catacombs. If you have other Clanks, you can play with those dungeon decks, or you can just play with the all-new dungeon deck.
Does it mention anything else, like mechanic-wise?
It seems like it's going to throw in some stuff from Legacy.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's portals that'll transport you around the depths. Way shrines offer vast riches to intrepid explorers. Prisoners are counting on you to free them, and ghosts, once disturbed, may haunt you to death.
There are ghosts in Legacy, and they're not great.
Yeah, they're just kind of like a weird cube that you can...
You don't want.
Yeah, they're just cubes you don't want to take. Yeah, that go in your bag.
Yep.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then last up on news.
Keyforge was broken, so they sold it off to the old Fantasy Flight CEO, who's going to fix it.
Yeah, so Ghost Galaxy, which I think was started by Christian T. Peterson, is his new one after he left Fantasy Flight.
And was like a founder of Fantasy Flight Publishing, which was a comic book publishing company and board game publishing.
I want to say he did it for TI1.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then dropped the comic book publishing and then turned into Fantasy Flight Games after Twilight Imperium.
Yes.
And he's Dutch, I believe. In case you needed to know that for your personal opinions on the Dutch.
It'd easily be the Dutch, yeah.
Love orange.
So after everything broke in acquisitions, or after everything broke in Keyforge,
yes, the algorithm was broken,
which we talked about, and that there were some hints that maybe it was because of like
ransomware
or something. Anyway, so Fantasy Flight reached out to Christian and his new company Ghost Galaxy to be like, hey.
You want this shit?
You're the one who brought this to Fantasy Flight. Do you want this for your new thing? And he said, "Yep, sure thing."
Yep.
So I guess it was something they were already Ghost Galaxy was already working on the software to support procedurally generated card games. So they were like, "Sure, yeah, we'll buy Keyforge and just roll that stuff all in there together." So they're gonna start releasing new decks. They're working on finishing the software for procedurally generating the decks, saying that it'll still take a number of months. And then they will be tweaking some of the things for like the rules for competitive gameplay to kind of streamline and condense some of the competitive side of Keyforge and just stuff like that. So yeah, that'll be all. There'll be more Keyforge in the future if that is something that you are interested in.
Indeed.
And that's it for news.
That is it for news. And then we go on to crowdfunding, which includes multiple different platforms at this point. First up is Ray. 20th Anniversary Edition. This is over on GameFound. Quite well funded, $68,000 of its $15,000 goal, about 880 backers, about 2 weeks left to go, and you can get this one for about $70.
Indeed, you can. Sorry, dog moment there. So this is like Jeff said, the 20th anniversary edition. It includes some new art from Vincent Dutrait, 3 different expansions, and 8 Egyptian god miniatures. And then I don't think they reworked the rules very much for the base game, if at all. They say it's been redeveloped, but I think that's just the art. It does say improved gameplay, so
it might just be like a modernizing it.
Yeah, like cleaning up some of the auction mechanics or something for it. The player count has increased to where it is now 2 to 5 players. Then all that other new art, upgraded components and stuff.
I have never played the previous game.
I have not either. The base game, from what they say on the Kickstarter, is basically you're bidding on different areas and then trying to build, like collect resources, buy resources, and then build pyramids and things like that. It's divided into broadly 2 ages, the old age and the new age. And things like pyramids stick around, and if you play with like the statues and some of those expansions, those would stick around as well. So you have a chance, like different areas become worth more points in that new era, or the new era, because the old era, like somebody built a pyramid there, now that's way more valuable.
Something similar, in like they did in Brass, right? With the 2,
Chester, no. The expansions add a couple of different things. There is the Afterlife expansion that adds like you can spend some of your time and effort in building your own tomb instead of like building pyramids, which is weird because like that's kind of what pyramids are, but whatever. That can get you different resources and some other like benefits and things there. There's also the Pharaoh expansion, which adds a Pharaoh miniature, Pharaoh tokens, and scheme cards. I didn't see a thing on like what that adds or what that changes. And then the statues expansion adds statues. One statue goes to whatever the first region on the auction is, and whoever wins that also gets to place the statue, and statues like pyramids carry over into the next era, making things more valuable. And then there's tarot cards and scheme cards that I'm not sure how those really affect anything because I don't know much about how to actually play the game. So,
well, it's also a crowdfunding thing that never really tells you what any 100%. Of those things do anyways.
Huge complaint of mine. So Yeah, if you want to get the exclusive expanded edition with everything, it's about $70. $53 for just the base game.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's
it.
Almond Ray
That's
from Reiner Knizia.
Yep. Love that guy.
He makes some good games.
Mm-hmm.
From time to time.
He makes some games I don't like. He's kind of all over the place for me.
Last up, this one's on Kickstarter, and it's weird. It is called Discovery Fractured Universe. Quite well funded, about $59,000 of its $15,000 goal, about 900 backers, 3 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge is all 3 colors of this dice set Kickstarter.
Yep.
With a backstory.
Yeah, so I didn't even really pay attention to the backstory at all.
It's like thematic, like
there's 3 planets that exploded, and these are the chunks of the planets that are left.
And then you're purchasing them to research the magical properties of these chunks that have survived the great disaster.
Yes,
that is, I believe, disaster does not have 3 S's, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, yeah, no, they definitely misspelled it up there at the top. They got it right here at Great Disaster, like midway through.
Yeah, disaster. Whatever. The dice look cool, though. They glow.
Yeah, so scrolling past all of their backstory, because who gives a shit? Here,
but no, the green one is called The Fallen, Adrian.
Yeah, and it's
Who
one
are
of
you,
the
Paul,
one of the
in
planets.
Descent?
You're correct. So they all have these cores that make them glow in the dark, supposedly.
Here's some uranium dice. Here you go.
Radium, sir.
I know. Yeah.
There's blue dice that also do the blue glow thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then
All
there's
of
the
these...
void, which is a red one and does a red glowy thing that looks gold.
Yeah, they go
images.
red to gold. Yes. These dice look like CG samples because they are sharp. Every time I see super sharp dice, I'm just like, are these real?
There are a lot of like
Wes
luxury dice.
Wes has a set that is like sharp.
Yeah.
I don't like sharp.
I don't
want sharp dice. It feels like if I roll that D8 wrong, lands on the tip, that thing's launching right back into my eye.
Especially on the rubber
like
mat.
neoprene, any dice tray, that thing's coming back at me.
Yeah. Hey, you'd look good in an eye patch, Jeff.
I have safety goggles I can wear to roll them.
The biggest complaint I have with these dice is that they are impossible to read, as it is
without a color
in the sample.
Yeah.
They do show down at the very, 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 very bottom. Inked option, white paint numbers available with all tiers in the pledge manager after the campaign at no extra charge. But again, they don't offer any samples. Like, everything looks like it's probably a CGI sample, not actual real product.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to see like how well they actually glow, or what the colors actually look like, and it's also not easy to see like what the white painted numbers will look like, because I could see that looking really garish with the kind of color scheme they're going for, and I don't know if I'd love that. So I'm not sold. They're definitely cool, at least the way they have them rendered up. Although I don't like this one. I'm not sure what
that's a D4.
I don't like
their
one
of those,
version.
like,
It's like one of the column ones you gotta roll weird, and I don't like that. I have one of those, and I've tried to use it, and it's garbage.
This may be their so they have 5 created. This might be their first successful campaign.
Yeah, well, maybe they've learned lessons. I don't know.
There's no way to know.
No way to know.
But yeah, so Discovery Fractured Universe, if you are interested in checking out them dices for yourselves.
Yeah, could be neat.
Could indeed be neat.
And
that's going to be it for news and Kickstarters.
That is indeed it for news and Kickstarters.
So let's us move on over to some listener feedbacks.
Which we do have an email at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email like Sean has.
Indeed.
Titled Kickstarters. After listening to the last episode, it got me wondering, what Kickstarters have you gotten delivered, and what are you still waiting on this year? I'm a big Kickstarter guy, and I have a ton of deliveries this year, and wanted to know your thoughts as you guys have moved away more from Kickstarter lately. Thanks for your time, and bye, Sean.
Yeah, so I have gotten a few things. I got, I don't remember exactly when it came in, but I got Pachikuna, which is like a 2-player game of like moving llamas through the Andes competitively. Like one person's up on the mountains and one's down in the valleys.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of fun. I really like it as a 2-player game. I got my Ares Expedition Terraforming Mars card game sometime within the last year.
As did all of us.
Yeah, that one's fine. It didn't super blow me away. I got my Clinic Deluxe expansions. I have not played them, so I don't know anything there. Root the Marauder expansion is very good. I got that, and in fact played that. I think since the last time, that was one of the games that I didn't talk about. Was a game of that we played at DBC Arvada. I got my For Sale Autorama, which was meh at best. Arkwright the card game is really good. I am still waiting on a bunch. I'm waiting on Campaign Trail 2nd edition.
I think it's at least in the U.S. now, so we should be getting that soon.
Yeah. So that one I'm still waiting on from our former sponsors, Gray Fox Games. I'm waiting on Darwin's Journey, the collector's edition. We talked about that a while back. It looked kind of cool. I am waiting on Spire's End Hildegard.
I am also on that one, but that should be shipped. That is shipping.
That one
right
should
now.
be shipping soon too. Small little deck game.
I had asked if anyone wanted to go in on my pledge, but maybe you had already.
I think I'd already had mine. I think
Kaiser is in on mine.
Okay,
he has a copy coming too.
I'm waiting on Shikoku 1889. That one I think is still a little ways away. They ran into some issues with like redoing some of the art and stuff. I'm waiting
Spared no expense on that one, huh?
I'm assuming it's multiple.
It's a group pledge.
Oh, I see.
That's
okay.
four different people in on that group.
Yeah,
pledge.
that's what I figured.
That's me, Mike Jones, Eric, and
Chris Evans,
I think.
Yeah.
Kaiser might be one of them as well.
I don't know.
There's no way to know.
No way to know.
Fight Club.
I'm sure somewhere I have who all it is.
Just Fight Club for who gets which copy.
Non-board game related, I did back the 4 new Brandon Sanderson novels in the audiobook and ebook version.
I really only read things ebook anymore. I don't have room for physical collections.
Exactly.
Unless it's board games.
And it was just so expensive to get the physical versions through this Kickstarter that I was like, nah, fuck that.
I have a very large screened iPad that I can read off of.
Yeah. Reaper Miniatures 6 I backed fairly recently. I need to finish my Pledge Manager. I spent $125 on Kickstarter, and then I have like another $150 sitting in the cart for the Pledge Manager.
Super.
Age of Steam Deluxe Expansion. I'm waiting for the maps for that. Ofer was kind enough to give me Age of Steam.
Did he just give it to you?
He just gave it to me. Gave it to me. What a classic. What a class act.
What a
sucker.
Yeah.
what a great dude.
You should have made Adrian pay more for it.
Yeah. Like
I think he pitied how much he has beaten my spirit down in comments for years and years and years. But he gave it to me just in time for me to go spend all that money on the expansion. So he's really like, ha ha ha, sucker.
You get Age of Steam and we just get some sumo calendars. Wow. Also, the sumo calendar actually like shows the Basho weeks, which I didn't realize until I went to July, and I was like, "Oh, it highlights the weeks."
Oh, that's cool.
The Basho. You haven't hung it up yet?
No, I have not.
Jesus Christ!
Wow, what a monster!
Wow. Yeah.
I would have hung it up over if you'd given it to me.
I have like a calendar I get from Kurzgesagt every year, and then so I have 2 calendars.
The YouTube channel, right, Jeff?
Yes, yes. It's German for in a nutshell.
Okay,
they do really good YouTube videos
about like sciencey topics.
I'll take your word on it.
Yes,
they're really good. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
And then last,
I support them by buying a calendar every year.
Last on my backed things is I backed ARCs because I'm currently still in the throw all of my money at everything leader games in Kyle Farron.
Gotcha.
So. I'm gonna go next. Cascadia, got it. Cartographer's Heroes, got it. Paladins of West Kingdom, got it. Ares Expedition, yep. I did a brush set, Ghost Tiny Fine Detail paint set, or just brush set, which is actually quite nice. So You've Been Eaten, which has been played. Robot Quest Arena deck building game. It's that robot deck building game from the Star Realms folks, the Wise Wizard folks.
Okay.
The Hero Realms app thing, Spire's End Hildegard, which will be coming sooner or later. Dandelions and Psychic Pizza Deliverers go to the Ghost Town, which is that Japanese
from board game tables.
Viscounts, which has not delivered yet. the Viscount's like collector's edition stuff, which I also purchased all of the Architect stuff because I missed out on that one.
Gotcha.
Then Ares Expedition expansion stuff, and then the
you did buy the expansions?
I did get the expansion stuff.
Okay.
And then Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
Gotcha.
But that, I think, is all I'm waiting on. Everything else should be long delivered.
Yep.
Boy, am I glad I didn't purchase Horizon Zero Dawn.
Same.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got what I'm still waiting on. The campaign trail, like Adrian.
So say we all.
Yep. Actually, their board game.
Oh yeah,
the trivia thing.
The like, trivia,
yeah.
nerd trivia stuff.
Was it Ardia? The Paths We Dare Tread. That was that big campaign one that had like the minis that you could move, like magnetic pieces on it that you could like swap in between, and had a lot of it was like that. All that shit looks fancy. Sure, let's hope it's a good game too.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like the many times you've played Tainted Grail.
Countless times. I've lost count how many times.
So
then we have Hanami Koji.
It's hard to remember Zero.
Exactly.
Understandably.
Look, the concept of Zero didn't come until much later in the numerical system.
Just start counting base 6, base 12. Let's do it, dudes.
Yep. So Hanami Koji, Geisha's Road. So it's the expansion for it. When I got all those mini expansions, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Is it Hegemony? No,
Hegemony.
Hegemony. That's it. I have that one.
We let Zach read our descent text, and it comes out bad usually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was the name of
Wing Commander?
Wing Commander.
Yeah.
Wing Commander.
Wait, it
says Wing Captain.
It says Wing Captain.
Every single fucking time, Zach was like,
Wing
Wing Commander.
Wing Commander is a fantastic game. I can understand if you were a big fan, and then all you want to do is think of Wing Commander.
Nope.
That is not it.
No. With Mark Hamill and
Fred Savage.
It was the bully guy from the Back to the Future movies.
Oh,
Biff,
really?
Biff, yeah. It was Mark Hamill and Biff. It was all FMV, and it was great.
Oh, I'm thinking of the movie that was like.
Oh no, I'm talking about the video game series,
right.
not the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mark Hamill was in the video game series.
Okay.
While we're shitting on Zach for his Descent reading, I also loved when I was in the middle of reading one of the things my character said, and Zach got clearly bored of listening to me read and swiped his phone.
It wasn't
to the other screen.
My finger without me controlling it just went boop, and I was like,
and switched it to like a different window on his phone that was projecting
streaming to the TV that you were reading off of at the time.
Yeah. Look,
he had to text me about how bored he was about you reading.
ADHD is fun. Let me just tell you. No, it's like I'm reading stuff. It is my brain will just start to try and read past where I'm actually reading and just start being like, I'm sure I know where this is going.
Yeah, that's just kind of.
So, Unsettled, the expansion, some more planet stuff. Paradox Initiative, the QE expansion, and then Skyrise.
What's Skyrise?
Skyrise.
What is Skyrise?
It's like bidding on.
It was that one that you were like, I'd rather have the wooden ones than the
plastic.
I'd rather have the meeples than the plastic.
Yeah.
Well, no. So that was a different game we just talked about like 2 weeks ago.
That was this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, never mind.
Yes.
I forgot about one game that I'm still waiting on. Madeira Collector's Edition, which was supposed to have delivered in March of 2020. And there was an update back in April 24th that said, hey, we've finally reached like a level we're happy with. Assembly and everything should be complete in mid-June. And here we are now in mid-July with no further updates. People are pissed in the comments. They're real
Where is
toxic.
this coming? Whom is this coming from?
This is coming from What's Your Game, which is really disappointing because like I met Mario and his fiance, wife, significant other person when I went to Portugal, and they were really nice and cool. And I was like, and I loved Madeira, and I was like, I'll back that and support them. And then
what a fool you are.
It has been a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
What could have possibly gone wrong between now and then?
I don't think anything happened around March of 2020 that changed the world.
Should have made it appear.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. That's it, right? That's last.
That's it for Kickstarter.
That is indeed it.
And feedback.
But
I didn't
listener feedback.
I didn't talk about Formula One. I'm just going to go real fast. Talk about Formula One real fast.
Oh my god.
Silverstone, one of the best races I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life.
Okay.
Austria was fine. Wasn't it? Coming off of Silverstone, it was just kind of like, it's just not good as that last amazing race.
Yeah.
So, like, why? But yeah, it was okay. But now we have 2 weeks till France. So,
well, there you go.
Is there going to be any during Gen Con?
They do have a summer break, but I have not checked the schedule.
Okay.
While you're looking that up,
I'll come back.
While you're looking that up, there was one more listener feedback over on YouTube, episode 269, the nicest episode. Paulo from Paulo's Corner commented, Top Gun Maverick is amazing. Saw it on IMAX theater and man, was blown away. I did also finally see it and it was real good. The story is kind of meh and the dialogue is at times kind of meh. Cheesy over the top kind of stuff. But the flight scenes, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There were a couple scenes though that could have been cheesy that I thought worked overall, that especially when it was going from a legacy perspective.
Sure.
But what I wanted to tell you that I was like, oh wait, I was like, apparently the way to make a good Top Gun sequel is to just make it Mission Impossible.
Oh. Yeah, I could see that vibe.
Because honestly, that was one problem with the first one, is that like the whole crux of it is him going through the training, and then it's like, all right, he's done with the training, and then there's this thing at the end, this little mission, like, right? And so now this one was, hey, we have a mission, you got to prepare for the mission, and now you've got to succeed. So like the through line was there, and it felt satisfying at the end.
Yes.
So that's why, it's real good.
The first Top Gun is definitely one of those movies. It's almost like Full Metal Jacket, where the only thing anybody remembers from Full Metal Jacket is like boot camp.
The first third of the movie is that.
And then the rest of the movie is like just a completely different fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of how Top Gun feels. Like there's when they're at Top Gun, and then there's a little bit at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's funny is like in the first one rewatching it, you like Iceman's supposed to be like not the villain, but like the antagonist in that, but it's just like he's the guy that like is careful and like, hey, you're reckless, buddy. I don't trust you. Like you're like, hey, he seems a lot more reasonable as you grow older. Then he's just like, no, I must side with the reckless one that causes all the shit and killed his partner, even though he sort of didn't, but barely he did. So
yeah. Well, and even like the opening for this one, like that whole scene, it was like, dude, you just fucked that entire program. Like you're lucky that somebody doesn't like take you out back and beat you to death.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a reason why no one did. But it was, that first scene was like, oh shit, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then from the valley scene on, about 2/3 of the way through the movie is like, oh my God.
Yo.
I'm just glad that it filmmaking has now can do that justice.
Yeah.
But I don't know many people that if it wasn't Tom Cruise that would push that way, which is a shame. So
yeah. Yeah. What'd you find, Jeff?
There's not a race this weekend. There is a double header the Sundays after this one, and then they're off for a month.
Ooh, nice.
Until August 28th. Well, technically August 24th is when 25th when practice begins. So it's race week. They're all there.
Yeah, sure. So we don't have to worry about it ruining your time.
No, I do not have to spend 90 minutes. Formula One does not take much time, which is what's great about Formula One.
Yeah.
It's like the race is 90 minutes, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You can watch qualifying, you can watch practice, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can just watch highlights.
Yeah.
They make a race in 30. They break it down to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you want to be a casual fan.
There's also Drive to Survive if you care to watch it like a year later.
And like weirdly inaccurate to the events.
No comment.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for this episode, though. Thanks for the listener feedback. If you want to get a hold of us, the relevant ways to do so, I'm gonna condense the relevant ways to get a hold of us. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can comment on our YouTube page, which I think is youtube.com/milehighgameguys still. I don't know if we shortened that one to MH Game Guys.
Search. You'll find us on there. Our biggest one is one of our worst looking ones.
It was our
literally
first
the
ever,
first one.
Like live stream of a game for Game of Thrones, and it bad.
Yeah.
The gameplay is awesome, but the video is bad. We didn't have our bit rate set right.
Your bit rate was bad.
Yeah. So you can comment over on YouTube. Join Paulo's Corner over there. You can check your podcast app of choice wherever you are listening to this and check the show notes. And there should be a link to our Slack channel. It is an ever active link. You can come join the Slack channel and hang out. There's a bunch of local gamers here from Denver. So if you're ever in Denver, you can get a hold of a bunch of different people to meet up and play games. There's also a bunch of people from all over the world, literally.
Our Game of Thrones has 14,000 views.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
And
what are you people doing?
And all of the top messages are like, "Oh, this looks good."
Like so many of them are like, "This
you got
is
these
really
rules
awesome,"
wrong.
but your graphics like kind of ruin everything.
And your rules are wrong.
There's a few that are your rules are wrong, but yeah,
whatever.
That's gonna be on almost anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So join the Slack channel. Send us emails. Comment on YouTube videos. Those are the three like really good ways to get a hold of us.
Yep.
You can listen to old episodes for things like our Twitters that we don't any of us really actively use.
I use it to look at things all the time.
Our Instagram, which none of us really actively use.
That was only him.
Our Board Game Geek Guild, which none of us really actively use.
Well, we stopped doing things that were specific game related, so that's why we stopped posting on it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those are all the ways to get a hold of us if you want to do that kind of thing. So thank you, everybody, for listening. We're glad to be back. And until next time, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm Minor Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.